Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good morning. Happy
Morning.
Saturday. Go,
Good.
Emily.
All right. Well, I've been told there's not too much background noise due to the earbuds that I have in. They're doing their job, but it is a very loud and boisterous background right now. Emily and I are in downtown Grand Rapids, Michigan for the, I don't know what annual, it's like one of the longest running 25K races in the nation. And this little gal has been training hard and she's going to run that race again today. And so really excited for Emily. We've got a full program this morning and we're going to get things rolling here. We've got, first of all, I want to say it is Mother's Day weekend. I want to give a shout out to all mothers. Happy Mother's Day. And we actually have a docket item that Carol and Kathy will be focusing on. And kind of the topic is, do it for your family, a mother's message, a Mother's Day message. Then we're going to have also Hank is going to be doing a segment on the amazing new Magnesium product. And so excited about that, guys. So excited. Nobody does it better than Hank. And then we've got David is going to be there for the topic of a peek over the pail. Peek over the pail. And David always just knocks it out of the park with anything that he has to cover. So that, we'll have some round robin stuff. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Carol. Good morning, Carol.
Well, good morning, everybody, and go for it, Emily. We're so proud of you. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. And being a mom myself, the older I get, the more I realize how much it is important to keep your health up. And so I just want to address that for a couple of minutes. And actually, I'm going to stop here. Actually, also invite a friend of ours, that many of you know, Kathy, who's a perfect example of what I'm going to talk about. Well, you've heard a lot about health span versus lifespan, and that's a coined message that Dr. Peter Attia talks about in his beautiful book, Outlive, which is a huge book that I'm working my way through. But today I want to talk about health span versus sick span, because lifespan is one topic, but do you want to go through your life and have a lifespan of sickness or health? And it is a choice in most cases. I won't say every case, I won't make any blanket statements, but I do believe that the earlier you start being healthy and making healthy choices, I believe with the help of the Lord, that we can have a really, really good health span rather than a sick span life. A sick span life is endless doctor visits. I mean, I'm doctor here, doctor there. I got to go to this doctor, my this, my that. And some of that is uncontrollable. I understand that, or out of your reach. But in many, many, many cases, it's due to lifestyle choices. So the earlier you make the choices, the more you're going to be able to ward that off. And some of those choices, instead of endless doctor visits, would be endless supplementation. Excuse me, I'm outside here with the bugs. Endless supplementation, endless walking, endless healthy choices, but they become a part of you. It's not that you've got to be constantly making these choices through your life. They become you. And with the healthy lifestyle health program that we have, HealthPointe, we teach you how to change your habits, train yourself, train your brain, as we say, so that you can automatically make these choices, not because they're a denial of one thing versus another, but because you feel good when you make those choices. And so you start to feel like your choices are, how do I feel? Do I feel good? Well, if I feel good, then I want to do that. And this is not 100% thing either. We are all human beings, and we all, at time to time, maybe make unhealthy choices or roll over in the bed when we should be getting up and walking or whatever. But if you do the 80-20 rule, that is going to make a super major difference in your life, especially the earlier that you do that. Hank and I started making some of these decisions way back when our children were tiny. Now we've got great grandchildren now, so you know how long it's been. I've been walking ever since the children were tiny because it was an exercise I could do with the kids. Supplementation came into our life back in 1973, and that's when we started studying health, supplementation, vitamins, organic gardening, and all those types of things that we know all today, but they were just being uncovered back then. So you're going to exchange your poor quality of life for a vibrant life. So as you move on, let's say you've got kids or you've got grandkids, or in my case, you've got great grandkids. Can you still run around in the yard with them? Can you play games with them outdoors? Can you do fun things with them? Can you pick them up? Can you get on the floor and play with them and then get up easily after that? And I'm thinking of Bill Wall. That was his goal back in 2001, is to be able to get down on the floor and play with his kids and now grandkids. And to be able to get back up. So these are simple things, but things that you have to think about in advance. And also putting in time versus zest for time, putting in time or zest for life. If you're ill or you're not feeling good, you're just putting in time. And the older you get, the more easy it is to just put in time. How many older people do you know that don't go anywhere? They don't do anything. They just sit in front of the television all day long because they just have never built that into their program. Well, you don't build that into your program when you're 80. You build that in the program when you're 20 and 30 and 40. And that just continues on. So it gives you a zest for life as you move on into your years. And it also gives you a zest for life while you're in the middle of your years, because if you're not feeling good or you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, and those numbers are getting younger and younger and earlier, and now they're talking about children at 3 of diabetic. These are things that you need to be making these choices way back because they're hitting people very, very early in life now versus in your senior years. And then just a poor quality of life, no matter what age you're at. You just want a good quality of life where if you're going out on a trip, you can do some hiking, you can do some power walking, you can do some beach stuff, wherever you travel. If you're up in the mountains, you can climb those mountains. You can take those hikes, whatever it might be. So it's basically changing that poor quality of life to a great quality of life. And so I would say to you, do it for your family. This is your Mother's Day message for all your moms. Do it for your family. It starts out as a little black dress. Many of us get on HealthPointe so that we can fit in that little black dress for the graduation party or the wedding, or maybe one of your children's weddings and you want to get down to size. Or maybe it's just, things like that, superficial goals, but important goals in the beginning. And then as you move on, you start to think it's so much bigger than the little black dress. It's quality of life all through your years. And I always say you have to think past the chocolate cake. I remember that one of our very successful coaches always used to say, you got to want to be slender more than you want that piece of chocolate cake. And so it's your choice. Is it healthy choices, or is it the chocolate cake? That doesn't mean you can never have a piece of chocolate cake in your whole entire life. I'm using this as a metaphor, as an example. But if you're constantly gnawing at those things, gnawing at the things that are not good for you, the bagels, the big muffins that are 1,000 calories a piece, the chocolate cake, these types of things. If you're doing it to celebrate something and you have a small piece, that's one thing. But if you're doing this as a regular thing and you've got cookies and stuff laying around the house and what have you, that's totally a different thing. And, I think, again, it has to be bigger than the piece of chocolate cake. And I want to ask Kathy Munoz if she would just join us. And Kathy is a great, great example of going on HealthPointe long before she realized the real need for going on HealthPointe. So Kathy, would you share with us a little bit about how it is so much more than a piece of chocolate cake for you?
Or wanting to get into Boy Scout pants that just look ugly all the time.
Okay, I can't hear you. Is it my phone?
Oh,
I can
you
hear
can't
you.
hear
We
me?
can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
We can
Can
hear
you
you.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can you
Yeah.
hear
okay,
me,
it's just my
Carol?
phone
Yeah.
then.
Okay, I said,
Yeah.
what I said, Carol, was I said, or just wanting to get into those ugly Scout pants that are always ugly all the time. Because if you recall, my goals were to get out of those ugly Scout pants and make them actually fit and go down a size or two. And I was, more importantly, pre-diabetic, but I didn't like how I looked. So, and yeah, so in the beginning, it started that it was for me because my mom's diabetic, was on insulin. My grandpa was diabetic, on insulin. I wasn't going on insulin. And I'm happy to say to this day, I'm not on insulin, thanks to HealthPointe, you know? So originally it was about me, but then I remember, and I don't know if you remember this, Carol, but back in September of 2018, we were in the middle of our first journey. And my mom ended up having a 12-hour back surgery, and Dave's mom ended up having some spinal surgery that was really key. And we were between Wyandotte Hospital and U of M Ann Arbor Hospital and working full time. And it was just crazy. And we actually still maintained our weight loss because we had the protein shakes that we would drink and keep them in the fridge at work. We drink them in the car on the way to the hospital, and then keep bars in my purse. And we kept it up, and luckily we had so much energy then. So that was way back then, and that was nothing compared to 2024 for me. But yeah, so and then the same with 2024. Dave had some health issues. He was in and out of the hospital. My mom had some health issues. You've heard on previous audios where they were in the hospital at the same time, 2 floors apart. That's when I discovered the Conquer Your Negative Thoughts book by Dr. Ammon. Praise God. But you're right, because luckily I was healthy. I felt good. So I was able to get up early, go to the hospital, get my steps in, do whatever I needed to do. If it was a work day, go into work, or go after work and stay until visiting hours were over at 8, and then come home, get everything ready for work the next day and do it again, wash, rinse, repeat, but I did. I had the energy. I was healthy. I felt good. I was a little tired at times, but one thing that I do remember that was my saving grace, and we haven't talked about it in a long time, is our happy pills, as Sharon Webb likes to call them, the energy and focus pills. Those were key for me. I still to this day start my every morning with an energy and focus pill, because the rhodiola in there gives you your natural sustained energy. It also helps with your metabolism, helps decrease stress. So a lot of things that you're going through while you're taking care of others. So that's just something you might want to keep in your quiver for those new people. I know, we have our non-negotiables, but this is another thing that's super, super helpful, and you get so many extra health benefits out of it, but by doing the program, and on previous audios too, my husband Dave even came in and said, he had COVID twice. I tested positive twice, and I wasn't down for a day, but I had really been focusing on maintenance and keeping myself healthy throughout COVID. Unfortunately, he had other situations that occurred, but I never got sick. So, and as the mom, it's my responsibility to try to take care of the family. So I do my best. But it started with taking care of me, and then that's given me the energy to take care of everybody else.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Can everybody hear me? My phone is doing some funny things here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Yes.
Could you hear me,
Okay.
Carol?
Anyway, one of the key elements of the HealthPointe program is supplementation. And back in 1973 or 74, Nutrilite was purchased by Amway Corporation. And it is the oldest and largest vitamin mineral company. and the only one that controls everything from soil to seed to growth to harvesting to production to your doorstep. And they have complete quality control. And we have a brand new product that I'd like to ask my husband, Hank, who is the epitome of what we're talking about here, a healthy lifestyle. Hank is the kind of guy that I never put his vitamins out for him. I never make his protein shake. I never wait on him. He just takes care of himself, exercises himself. He does everything himself. And to me, that's taking control of your health. So Hank, would you like to share a little bit about one of our latest products?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. I want to talk to you about a new product that Nutrilite just released, which I'm very, very excited about. And it's called Magnesium. You know, so many people are devoid of enough magnesium in their system. And just reading off the label of this product, simply says magnesium by Nutrilite to support heart, nerves, muscle, brain health, and occasional stress and sleep. That's what's on the bottle. And I'm going to read you some other things here shortly. But what I love about it, that this is a marine sourced magnesium from the ocean, from the sea. And that tells me that's great. It's not tampered with any herbicides, pesticides, which Nutrilite never uses anyway. So that's the source of this magnesium. It also has what's called olive fruit extract from olives. Again, raised, grown in the areas that are certified, organic and the whole works. So it's a great, great product. Just some of the things that's in there, and some of these, they may not mean a whole lot, but the magnesium is what's got in there, something called bisglycinate, chelate, magnesium hydroxide, and dimagnesium malate. Now, the big thing you need to know is that the magnesium bisglycinate, that's a big word, right? Why is that important? Because it's the form of magnesium that makes it better absorbed and gentler on the stomach, reducing gastrointestinal discomfort. That's what magnesium bisglycinate chelate does in this formula. It is the primary source in this formula, and that's fabulous. I'm going to read to you quickly some of the frequently asked questions about this new magnesium, so you know. And by the way, let me give you the SKU number. If I can read it, it's tiny little number. It's 128. Looks like 602. I believe that's what it is. 128602. So, what does it mean that magnesium has an NSF contest certified, which it is? NSF certification ensures the product meets strict quality and safety standards through third-party testing and plant inspections. It provides confidence that what's on the label is in the product. And you can say that for many things on the marketplace today, okay? Is it certified kosher? Yes. Is it certified halal? Yes. Okay. So let's go to some of the other questions that were asked. Why do other Nutrilite products contain magnesium oxide? Magnesium oxide is still effective and well absorbed with clinical benefits. It is used in multi-ingredient formulas because it provides a high concentration of elemental magnesium while keeping tablets and capsules a manageable size. Nutrilite Magnesium contains magnesium in chelated forms for better absorption. Here's another question that was asked. Can I take Nutrilite Magnesium with other Amway products containing magnesium? The answer is a big yes. But the tolerable upper intake limit is 400 milligrams a day from supplements. To minimize gastrointestinal discomfort, separate doses throughout the day. Separate them. Avoid taking Nutrite Magnesium, double X supplements, and CalMag together at once. Is this product recommended for children? The answer is no. They say adults 18 or older. Can pregnant or nursing women take this product? The answer, consult your physician, all right? So let's go into the other big question. Does Nutrite Magnesium replace the CalMag D that we have? And how is it different? It says no. Nutrite Magnesium does not replace CalMag D. These are two separate products that are designed to target different health benefits. Magnesium serves multiple functions in the body, and therefore, Nutrite Magnesium was designed for its multiple benefits, including supporting sleep. I'll be talking about that momentarily. Occasional stress, energy production, normal health, nerves, muscles, and brain health function. Now, the CalMag D, which is the other product that has magnesium, is specifically designed to support bone health. So it's a whole different kind of product. Calcium and vitamin D, which is the CalMag D, right, are critical nutrients for healthy bones, and magnesium is provided in this product because it helps minerals like calcium do its job to support strong bones. Do I have to take magnesium with my evening meal, and will it make us sleepy? Magnesium may have a calming effect on the nervous system, which is one reason why it is associated with relaxation and sleep. That said, not everyone experiences the same thing. But I'll tell you from personal experiences, I've been taking it for the last week and take 2 capsules with my evening supplements at night. And that's what I take it because it completely relaxes me. I haven't slept as good. And I usually sleep pretty decent, but I still get up a number of times during the night. But since I've been taking this magnesium, it has completely just relaxed me. I sleep better. And I get up less often. And also, although I'm telling you this, it has really helped with my BM situation, bowel movements, okay? Because I remember my father had major problems with that, and he always took something called milk of magnesium, which I don't recommend because it takes other stuff out of your system, but that's all he knew. And but here it is, it was magnesium based, and this product could really help. It has helped me, I know that. I take 2 capsules with the rest of the evening vitamins that I take, and it's been a tremendous benefit. I feel so different when I take it than when before I used to take this product. So I cannot recommend it enough. I think it's an awesome product. Try it. 2 capsules with your evening and whatever vitamins you take at that time, and see how it helps you. All I can tell you is personal experience. I love it. So that's my take on this new magnesium. Get it, try it, at least do it for a good week, and taking those 2 capsules in the evening with whatever else you take with your evening meals. And I know this, when I take those 2 capsules and I sit down, it was time for me to relax. I maybe watch a short movie or something. I have a hard time getting through that movie because it starts to put me to all the relaxation mode and it starts to put me out. And I love it. So that's my take on this new magnesium, guys. Try it. You'll love it. That's my take on it, guys, and hope it helps you all. Have a good day and the rest of the month, too. And Emily, go for it, girl. Proud of you.
Thank you so much, Hank. And as a matter of fact, just kind of a programming note, we are coming up on 8:30 here Eastern Standard Time, and that's when Emily's portion kicks off. So I'm going to walk with her over to that line. You can see she's getting into running mode. The jacket is off. And so as a matter of fact, when the bell rings and the racers start running, if you guys will allow me the latitude, whoever's talking, I'll probably just jump in and interrupt, and we'll all give her yeehaw and send her on her way, and then we'll be back to resumption of our program. But Hank, thank you so much for that message on the magnesium. And maybe if we have time, I'll comment on some things that you've touched on that actually I learned in my integrative oncology course. Very, very key product. And I mean, actually, you pretty much hit on the notes that I was going to speak about, including the relaxation effect and that milk of magnesia product that so many people are aware of that brand. But we'll turn it back over to whoever's next as Emily and I walk over to her starting line, and I'll bounce back in when she gets underway. Thanks, guys. Whoever's next, go ahead.
David, we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, I want to hear about peek over the pail.
Okay, peek over the pail. And so last walk and talk, we talked a little bit about the benefits of when you finally get to maintenance. And so the peek over the pail is just a message for the people who are in the journey of HealthPointe, still striving to hit their goal weight. And just a reminder that my wife, Chris, was 250 pounds, 5'5", on 4 medications. And it was about 12 years ago that she hit her goal weight of right around 150. And she has over the years dropped down to just one cholesterol medication. And that cholesterol medication, they've even decreased the amount of medication that has in it. And so I want to also say that Carol Zampa is the person who helped us back, 12, 15 years ago with HealthPointe. And just again, the great example that Hank and Carol are for the HealthPointe maintenance, having fun lifestyle. And so I just wanted to share a couple recent stories. And one was that Chris went to the doctors this past week, and all of her numbers came in really good. And except for her A1C, I guess it's supposed to be a maximum of 5.5. Hers was 6.1. And so I was kind of ready to argue with the doctor a bit. And I didn't realize that the doctor came in and said, well, it was 6.2, it's down 6.1. We'll just continue to keep our eye on it. Her blood pressure, again, just for other people, her blood pressure is always in the 140s, high 140s when she goes to the doctor's office because she gets really stressed. And I just let the doctor know that that at home, it's like between 115 and 125. And so the doctor's been really cool on that also. So again, just taking the supplements every day, of being on the HealthPointe program. She does her 8,000 to 10,000 steps every day. That those things really do make a difference. The trajectory over time of doing it every day, every day, every day. And so maintenance, to this day, she records every day her weight in the morning, her weight at night, and how many steps she does. And she does usually 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. So when her weight is in the 140s, we eat really clean. We relax a little bit and may have some things. But when her weight goes into the 150s, 151, 152, okay, time to tighten up. And that's when we're back to having 2 salads a day. And so, again, you monitor it so that then you can monitor your behavior. And then lastly is just, about monitoring it. Again, one of the things, trajectory. If you eat, we're gonna have a birthday party, we're gonna have pizza. If you have pizza once a month, like 1 piece, maybe 2, once
David,
a month. Yes.
I'm so sorry, but I mentioned I might interrupt at the start of the race, so apologize for interrupting.
Okay.
Just
No
want
problem.
to give a shout out. This is the starting line, and let's all give Emily a big shout out. She's in that crowd somewhere right there. Yay!
Oh, Emily, you got
Emily,
this.
Woohoo!
All right, guys, she'll be wrapped up in about 2.5 hours. So we're back to our regular programming notes. Thanks, David. Back to you.
So again, in summary of that point, that when the weight's a little bit high, we eat 2 salads. When it's not, we're a little bit less stringent. I'm talking about less stringent. My last story is that a funny story is on Tuesday, we went to Frankenmuth. And so we went to Zender's and we had our chicken dinner with mashed potatoes, stuffing, gravy, coleslaw. They're really good bread. I ate everything, and Chris made a couple comments as I had my wine. We also had wine with our dinner. And as I ate my meal, and Chris ate half of everything. And the next morning we get up and I weigh myself and I've gained 2 pounds. And I look at her chart and she lost a pound. And I walk into the living room and I look at her and I say, hey, we live the same lifestyle. How can I gain 2 pounds and you lose a pound? And without skipping a heartbeat, she just looked at me and she says, you eat too much. So that's the peak over the pale that you can have, be healthy, have that healthy, vibrant lifestyle, able to do things on HealthPointe maintenance, and you have some ability to be able to wiggle a little bit more. But when you start to creep up a little bit high, you need to then tighten things up. And so that's my peak over the pale. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. And again, thank you for that quick interruption there. Yeah, it's, I guess kind of continue with that theme for people that might be new. By the way, I know everybody's saying you can't hear it, but there is Ozzy Osbourne blasting in my background. So I'm going to step away from the speakers here, except for all you Ozzy fans. So for perspective, on Emily and her 25K, we all get healthy for different reasons, right? And that's what, David, you're talking about, a peak over the pale. For Emily, that's her jam. She likes to train. She likes to do races. Obviously, in the HealthPointe program, it's not necessary to be running, long races. In fact, we just talk about daily walking, but whether it's, playing with grandkids, playing with kids, doing races, enjoying hikes, whatever it is that is your motivation, your reason for staying healthy. Like Carol said, maybe not having a lifestyle of so many doctor visits, although, some of those things are not controllable, but to the degree that you can control them, I don't think many people would say that is their dream lifestyle, to be going to doctor's visits more than they would think they should, but rather to be doing other fun things. So I love that topic, David. That's what it's really all about, is getting to that place where we can do the things that we want to do, have the health to be able to do the things that we want to do. And so thank you, David, for that peek over the pale segment. And I'll turn it over to whoever's like to chime in, broadly from the community too. I know there's a number of us that are kind of on the docket here, but everybody's welcome to chime in here. This is a group, this is a community.
Well, I like to chime in. So I know that Kathy was talking about her energy and focus and what she likes to do. So right now, the energy drinks are my specialty. So when I was going with my mom and going into her, taking care of her, meeting with the doctors, and Kathy was meeting with her mom's doctors, I was getting those energy drinks to make it so I wasn't having to drink the nasty energy drinks. And my wife really did take good care of us. And I was kind of stubborn at the beginning, not listening, and not doing the things that I did. And I paid for it. There was a lot of health issues that I've had. Since then, I've learned a lot, and I'm actually, she hasn't been sick in 2 years that I can think of. I can't remember the last time she was sick. So
Actually, it's been 4 or 5.
4 or 5 years she's been sick. So. And she had COVID, and I mean, that's a sign of sickness, but she was asymptomatic, so no signs whatsoever. She just had it. So I'm like, okay, that's what I want. So I'm starting later in life. I'm paying the price. So for all those out there that are early in their lives, take it now. Don't do what I did. I should have had listened to my coach a long time ago.
Well, you're doing great things now, David. Great message, great lesson on that. And I mean, that is a message that all of us do well to pay attention to, and that is in a lot of areas of life, right? That can be, we're talking about health right now, like physical health, don't necessarily wait and start late. But maybe some people that have it dialed in with their health, maybe they could learn that message on financial items, right? That is another area where it's good to start early, but there's no better day to start than today, right? And so great message there. So thank you for that, David. And yeah, I think back on one of your segments on the Monday night, you just, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. I almost am more impressed by somebody that in the HealthPointe program starts a program, maybe bounces around a bit, maybe goes off of it, and then has the strength of ego, the healthy ego, to come back in, raise their hand again, and resume. Versus, I think more people would want to hide in the shadows and not come back around again and say, I'd like to give another go at this. It's kind of easier to hide. Now, of course, you have your wonderful step queen wife, Kathy, that is right there, that probably helped with that resumption of things. But again, just I think you're just such an amazing example of not giving up. And now you're gaining some of those benefits, because in this latest round, you're down quite a bit of weight, as I recall. I don't remember the exact numbers. Maybe if you care to share, you can share those.
Yeah, I'm actually down 30 pounds right now.
Ooh.
Wow. That'll make a difference.
Made a big difference.
Absolutely. And
I learned a product that I wasn't taking before, because even before, when I lost my weight, I wasn't losing my waistline. It just seemed to be holding on there. So now I'm using the Ignite powder, orange, and now I'm losing my waistline. I'm having a hard time fitting in my jeans that I have right now. And even those I was fitting into before. So loving it.
And when you say hard time fitting into your jeans, you mean because they're too loose?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Because a lot of times you hear people saying, I have trouble fitting into my jeans, and they're talking about the opposite, right? They can't get them buttoned up.
No, I'm off. Hey, you probably caught me a couple of times when I was doing my walk where I'm pulling up my jeans.
That's a good problem to have, for sure.
Yes, he's suffering from baggy pants syndrome, which will gladly take that syndrome.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really great. All right. Anybody else have any commentary on either the magnesium product? Gosh, we could talk about, we recently covered kind of strategies for working around holiday dinners and so forth. I know with Mother's Day, that's often a celebratory, maybe Mother's Day brunch. I see a lot of signage around here in downtown Grand Rapids for that. Maybe it's just as simple as the advice that Chris gave to you, David. You eat too much. So.
I don't like telling my Chris Dasso stories.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I just went and got a stick of Ignite. I figured, oh shoot, I'd better get back on that thing.
Yeah. Great product. Another one that we haven't necessarily chatted about as of late is the muscle multiplier as well. Particularly if someone is doing more, workouts, strength training and so forth like that. That is an amazing product. It's
also an
broad,
amazing product for older people to maintain their muscle mass.
Good point. Good point. Yeah, in fact, as I recall, kind of the history on the development of parts of that formulation, the doctor behind it, and for those of you that have heard this information or read this information back when that product, I think, first came out, certainly come alongside and correct me if I'm wrong or collaborate with me on if you recall some of these details. But I want to say, and I won't call his name out because it may be inaccurate on this information, but I want to say that he worked kind of on both ends of the age spectrum in his medical training and in his medical practice and in his academic research. And that is, he worked in kind of pediatrics, and then also
he also worked in the burn unit.
That's correct. And was it was that where it was the pediatrics burn unit? Where
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And they were bedridden, right? And so he gave them the muscle multiplier to help them rebuild their muscle and everything. And they regained mass with just laying in bed. From what I remember hearing.
Okay, good. I was trying to, sometimes I listen to so much information. I was like, am I remembering, correctly as it is related to our product? And then on the other end of the spectrum, he was working in the geriatrics, not burn unit, but geriatrics in general. But the point being is that whether you're a child that's been severely burned and bedridden, you can't move, you can't like strength train to rebuild your muscle, or if you're geriatric and maybe have broken a hip or something like that, and again, you're quite immobile, but at the same time, recovery in a huge degree relies on obviously the rebuilding of your muscle tissue and so forth. It was in those two ends of the spectrum, the children that were having to lay bedridden as burn victims, and then the geriatric population that might have an injury or something that made them also bedridden, that this kind of formulation came out that works so well at helping your body synthesize protein and rebuild those lean muscle fibers, where without the product and formulation, because it's one thing, I mean, call it bioavailability. We hear that so often on all our products. Hank, you touched on that on the calcium. It's not just about, ingesting a supplement. That's the problem with so many supplements out there. They don't have the science behind it. They don't have the understanding, the research, and it's not as a bioavailable as other products. I was talking with somebody recently, actually they were asking me some questions about our Omega. That's another one. I think our Omega has a 3x bioavailability formulation to it. So they're very keen on not just taking Omega so that you can say you're taking an Omega, but is it an Omega that your body actually uses? Is
You're
it
talking
calcium?
about absorption? Is that bio, whatever your word is?
Yes, absorption, utilized by the body. To put it in very transparent and candid terms, who knows that you're taking your supplements? Does your plumber know? Because that's the statement out there that a lot of plumbers, if they have to go into dealing with homeowners' pipes inside their houses, would say about how they would find supplements in the pipes. I know I'm being very visual here. I'm being very, very real. But obviously that supplement was not bioavailable. Somebody popped that in their mouth I'm sure it made them feel good. They thought they were doing something wonderful. And, you know, the plumber finds it in their pipes, you know, and so basically it's a total waste of their money. So whether it's your magnesium product, like Hank talked about, he touched on the formulation to be bioavailable, it's utilized, whether it's our advanced omega or omega-3 products, whether it is the muscle multiplier, which is a BCAA, a branch chain amino acid product. It's not just about the headlines of it. It's about is there the science behind it so that that product is actually bioavailable? Is it being used by your body? Is it maximizing its ability to do the things that you want it to be doing in your body versus just ending up down in the plumbing pipes, not doing anything, not even being available at all?
Hey, Eric.
Yes.
I don't know the science. I'm not the science guy like you and Hank. But you know, I'm a practical man. Does it work or doesn't it? You know, so I'm willing to try anything and see if it works. I was pretty much bedridden, so I had to go through rehab and everything. So then my wife says, "You need to try this." So you know her, and she knows the product, so she got me the muscle multiplier. So I started taking that when I was trying to go through recovery, and noticed a big difference. And it wasn't a long time. It didn't take a month or something like that. I started noticing, you know, a big difference right away for myself. So I was out of rehab sooner than was expected, and it helped me get over into my recovery period to help me get better.
So
Yeah.
Dave, you can take muscle multiplier 1 to 3 times a day. So how often were you taking it?
I was taking it 1 to 2 times a day, and so it helped a lot for myself. I didn't know I could take it 3 times a day. Could have gone crazy on it, I guess, and got a lot better quicker. But yes, it did work for me.
Perfect.
Oops.
It's also quite delicious too. I mean, I like the berry formulation. There's the, what is it? The dragon fruit formulation and the berry.
Watermelon.
I'm sorry,
Watermelon. That's my
Okay.
favorite. I will use
All right.
that with my gut health in the morning. With the Begin product, I will put the Begin product, I will use it, I'll mix it up with my water and put it in the fridge overnight, just so the chalkiness dissolves. And then in the morning, I add regular water, room temperature, and then add my muscle multiplier in that. And it's delicious. I love it.
Oh my gosh, Pam, you just about saved my life with what you just threw out there. I now know the proper way to take muscle multiplier. Okay, so here's what I mean. You know how, like, we were just talking about the blood orange product, and
yeah,
we often talk about that as a kind of like a pixie stick, and it's actually the use instructions say you can just kind of like down the hatch like a pixie stick, right? We talk about that on that product, or you can mix it with water.
Yes.
Okay. Just in case any of you like think I'm actually like scientific or smart, let me tell you what I did. So as Pam is saying, that muscle multiplier product is kind of chalky, right? So
not that one. The gut health, you mean, or the muscle multiplier? Oh,
yeah, I'm referring to the
Begin?
multiplier. No, the muscle multiplier product. When you put it in water, it's like talcum powder. It just wants to float. It's hard to mix in.
yeah.
You know what? Okay. So, and it's a pretty good scoopful, right? That scoop is a pretty good quantity. And so I would, you know, put that in my water, and, you know, it takes all of about 2 minutes to stir and you're fine. But me being me, I thought, you know, this is kind of, quote, taking too long. So the blood orange product, you could just take like a pixie stick. Let me see how this would work to take this multiplier, just take the scoopful, just dump it down the hatch, and then, you know, drink the water afterwards. Okay, guys, do not do that. Do not do that. it was probably very hilarious if anybody would have been in the kitchen with me, seeing me, coughing and hacking and just about like seriously, like this. There's a reason. I think they say on the label, do not do that. But of course, I had to push the boundaries. And of course, what it does, it's one thing with the blood orange product. It's a small quantity. It's a little bit more crystally. It works fine. That muscle multiplier is extremely fine, and it's a pretty good sized quantity. So when that stuff is laying on your tongue, if you even inhale a puff of air, it is going right down your esophagus, and you will choke like a madman. I was bent over, grabbing my knees, coughing and spewing. And so you just saved my life, Pam. I will dutifully put that in, let it sit, catch it the next morning. Thank you for saving my life.
Eric?
Yes, Hank.
Yeah, I recommend do not use cold water. I drink mine with perfect water, of course, but room temperature. And it dissolves a lot better. You got to stir it a little bit, yes, but it dissolves a lot better in room temperature water.
Oh, great tip there. Yeah. You guys just want me around to host these walk and talks. I know. Thank you for these helpful tips and tricks that will keep me from choking to death on muscle multiplier.
I'd like to sing the praises of muscle multiplier also back, and I might have told this story, so pardon me for being redundant, but probably last November, being the power walker I am, sometimes they get sloppy about looking at my shoes that they need to be replaced, and they needed to be replaced. And I noticed a feeling in my left knee. So when I finally realized that, I replaced the shoes, but by that time, the left knee had already had some strain on it. So then, long story short, went up to Michigan to our great-granddaughter's birthday party. And of course, my daughter-in-law insisted upon me being the captain of whatever the seniors was. And so I had to go out there and do my thing. And it was to keep two balloons up in the air. And their backyard is like a ski slope. It's got all kinds of moguls on it. So I'm trying to keep these two balloons up in the air. And I stepped on the side of a mogul and twisted my knee. And I could actually hear a crunch. Now, I in my whole life, I have never heard that sound. And I thought I did some serious stuff here. Well, being the trooper I am, I would not say anything to anybody. I just grinned and bared it for the weekend. And then I got home and went to the chiropractor, and she said, it could be your meniscus, but let's just do some chiropractic and, the different things. And she said, let's see if it'll mend. Well, I went to the muscle multiplier, and I had been taking it maybe once a day, but I started taking it 3 times a day because if you remember, I always compared it to like an ACE bandage, a liquid ACE bandage that wraps around your joints and keeps your joints strong. It builds muscles around your joints. And so I took it for 3 times a day. First thing in the morning when I wake up, and I take it with Balance Within, so kind of similar to Pam. And then I take it after my power walk, and then I take it before I go to bed at night. And I will tell you that it healed completely. No surgery whatsoever. She said, I just don't really want to do surgery. Let's just see if it'll heal. And because of the muscle multiplier, it did heal. And my knee has been totally fine. And I had a lot of inflammation in there originally. So I really, really recommend that product, and take it 3 times a day. It will not hurt you. And it also, Pam's husband, Steve, does a beautiful, beautiful job on muscle multiplier. And I want to get him back on again. But he talks about how when you exercise, nitric acid is produced in your system, but it leaves your system very quickly. But when you, if I'm not quoting him wrong, if you are taking the muscle multiplier, it will keep that nitric acid active and effective for a much longer period of time. And of course, that's really, really good for the brain. It's good for everything. And in fact, I just sent over to Hank a little Instagram on nitric oxide. and the benefits of it. So I just highly recommend that product. And you're right, Eric, it does take a little bit of time to dissolve, but if you put it balance within or begin or something else within it, it'll kind of break it down a little bit faster. And don't drink it dry, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned my lesson on that one for sure. No, this is actually, it's always so fun, what topics we end up lingering on our program sometimes, but this muscle multiplier product, you mentioned about meniscus. I've got a kind of a meniscus issue as well, pretty significant one, as a matter of fact. And I will actually up my cadence of taking the muscle multiplier because I've just been doing the once, in a day. So
3 times a day, 3 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will do that because, and I'll comment on this a little bit because on the meniscus, because people, I think it's probably one of the most common knee injuries. So maybe it's, there's already a couple of us that are talking about it. So let me continue to share on it. The meniscus is, again, kind of a common injury. It's pretty easy to do. I've actually had 2 meniscus issues. One was playing a racket sport called squash, and the other one was running a race. But you will typically hear it or feel it, like you were talking about, Carol. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it's
was
kind of
an
an
actual crunch.
yes,
Oh.
yes, and it's kind of very unsettling just hearing that sound. Okay, speaking of sound, I'm getting out of the, to me, noisy. I guess to you guys it wasn't too bad, but as a matter of fact, let me just kind of go on a tangent here. For those that have been to the beautiful Amway Grand Plaza Hotel, you might recognize this behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And that beautiful. If you haven't been here in a while, they have totally redone. See that beautiful gold leaf
It's been
ceiling?
years since I've been there.
Yeah, and remember that big?
Oh yeah, the big burst.
Yeah, the sunburst.
Yep.
And then here, remember this? Here,
yeah.
See that beautiful chandelier? Yeah.
Yep.
This is one of the most beautiful hotels ever. But getting back on the meniscus is back when my first meniscus happened, the common approach, anybody you would talk to, certainly if you went in and got professional opinion, it was always surgery. And again, not saying that there isn't times for sure where surgery is your only option or best option, but meniscus, the reason they always said this was because the meniscus is basically like a cartilage. Okay, think of like cartilage. It's kind of white. It's not rich with. It's not red. It's not like muscle, or that has capillaries in it. And oxygenated blood, right? So the logic for forever and ever was always meniscus is cartilage, basically. There's no oxygen-rich blood that is circulating in the tissue, and therefore it cannot heal like you could heal a muscle tear or other things that can happen in your body, other accidents. And for that reason, your solution is always surgery, either to snip it. So think of like a small, like a 1-inch piece of cartilage, and maybe it's ripped a little bit, or kind of like a little bit of a, we'll call it a hanging chad. Okay, a little hanging chad on there. They will snip that off, and it's not like crazy surgery, but I mean, in my case, because my first one, I did get surgery on it. You're going under anesthesia, and they're operating on you. So it's not. No surgery is like a ho-hum surgery. Every surgery is trauma to your body. So sometimes it's necessary. what's my point? My point is the science, the medical science has moved along. Surgery is still sometimes the best or only option for a meniscus. But to your point, Carol, now it's understood that you can recover without surgery. In fact, there's many peer-reviewed papers in PubMed, in the various scientific journals that compare results of surgery to results with physical therapy and other non-surgical means. And one of the reasons, and this is all comes to our muscle multiplier, is that while it's true that the meniscus is like a cartilage, think of it, and it doesn't have a direct blood, oxygenated blood in it, surrounding your meniscus and knee is synovial fluid, okay, as well as various, connective tissues. And when you take a product, in this case, that can help with, doing all the things that we were just talking about with, pediatric burn victims and geriatric populations, and you can basically strengthen in and around that hampered meniscus, you can come back to full range of motion and more. You might end up being, so it's not gonna, the one thing with surgery is you book an appointment, you go in, they snip it, you walk out. You're still going to have some rehab and recovery, no doubt. But the thing with doing a non-surgical, if that is the best way, is that, you're going to have to do the work. The great news is in many cases, you end up, because you see the results that's happening, you come out stronger than you were before, because you have built up that connective tissue around your vulnerable knee joint. You've built up that you kind of made that synovial fluid inside the joint of the knee more activated, more resilient. Because whether it's going up and down a flight of stairs, we've all done it, where you just kind of miss a step and you kind of look, if your knees are strong, you just kind of catch yourself and you recover and continue down the stairs. If your knees are not strong, that can send you tumbling down those stairs. It's a whole different thing. So I know I kind of unpacked that meniscus a little bit more than I anticipated, but I do think it's a pretty common injury. Carol, you recovered wonderfully from it. So by the sounds of it, are you like on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like fully recovered, 1 being it's like still ouching you? Where are you at on that?
No, 100% no ouch.
Wow.
100%. And the other thing that I noticed was when I do floor exercises, and for a while there I didn't, because my knee was inflamed, and so I couldn't bend my knee to the degree that I needed to do the exercises. And so I'm back doing the floor exercises now, and one of them in between is to completely squat down on your all fours, and that means that your stomach is kind of touching the floor and your knees are completely bent. Completely. And I was not able to do that for a long time. And it's right back to where it was. Also, Eric, as I was listening to you, there are 2 choices people can make. Now, obviously, I'll put a disclaimer. Sometimes there is no choice, and we all respect that. So these conversations, this is a blanket statement. But I kind of equated to, okay, you go in, you got the torn meniscus. What can you do to strengthen, build, rebuild? And it takes longer. Or you can do the surgery. And I compare that to, okay, you go in and the doctor tells you got to lose 50 pounds. You can do the Ozempic route, which is kind of equates to surgery, just a quick fix. Or you can do the HealthPointe approach, which is doing the right stuff, letting the body do what it needs to do by doing the right stuff, and then having a lifetime of benefit from it. And when I was listening to you, it kind of made me think of that analogy. Now, maybe it's not a really good one, but it's the Band-Aid versus the fix, the total fix. That, and it does take time. I'm thinking of Emily. She's out there running her brains out right now. She didn't just get out of bed and do that all of a sudden. She's been training. Emily made a decision to train to do those things. We make a decision to train our bodies to do things. Now, not run marathons, but do things, simple things every day till they become a part of you. And so it's the same kind of thing. Emily had to build up to it. Everything that you do, good or bad, you build up to. Fortunately, it's a little easier to build up to the bad than it is to the good. But once you do it, it's pretty good, you know? So yes, pay the price now or pay the price later.
And Carol, to add to all of that, if you think when you just mentioned the word price, good segue, because I'm dealing with insurance and having clients who, when we talk about the deductible, the co-pays, hospital expenses are huge. People worry about paying money for supplements that could potentially keep them from going to the hospital or having that surgery. But if you take your $1,500 or your $1,800 or $2,500 deductible or whatever, imagine how much muscle multiplier, your omegas, or something that you could purchase to get all of the things that are wonderful to prevent or hopefully to stave off some of these issues. And again, not the blanket approach. There are obvious, I've had them myself, surgeries that couldn't wait. But I mean, I think about that when I say to Steve, wow, you know, well, do you think we should get all of those things? And he said, well, do you want to have good health? Do you want to be able to afford going on a trip or something? And I mean, geez, we have co-pays every time we go for just a checkup, you know, just a regular general physical. So the money goes into either supplementation or, in a sense, the co-pays and the deductibles and so forth, if you have a choice, you know.
Yeah. Obviously, if you break a bone, you got to have the bone reset. I mean, I think all of us here understand what we're trying to say. It's just that preventative, sometimes it's harder in the beginning, but it's so much easier later on if you can stave off or eliminate, it just through lifestyle, just picking up 6 or 7 good habits that you're just going to keep with for the rest of your life.
Everything in life has a price. Our relationships have a price. You know, we work for it. You know, when we have found the one you love, you still have to work through all your life. So I believe it's either paying the price up front and getting what you need and having a healthier lifestyle, or paying it in the end and having a less healthier lifestyle. So I rather pay the price at the beginning.
You and Kathy are a perfect example of that. You just celebrated your 30th anniversary. Congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
And we know that you've had to work at it. You've had some very tough years. You just not being able to do the things you want to, or feeling rotten. And Kathy being able to, suck it up and be cheery and be there when you and your mom and her mom needed it. Those are prices you pay too. But, it sure was worth it, wasn't it?
So, Eric, the hour is a little bit past. And so I'm going to make a final comment and maybe help you exit the program. And so a peek over the pale when we're in maintenance is staying plugged into the community. How grateful I am for the walk and talks, the Mondays, the Tuesdays. I have Hank and Carol as my personal mentors. I have people who I have some family members and people who come into my life and tell me, David, you need to slow down. And I tell them, you don't understand. I got to check in with my mentor. He's 91 years old. I can't keep up with him. So I love the community. And it's worth the price of, to stay in the community so that we learn all these things and just continue to do the things we need to do to get the maximum out of each of our days. Thank you, Hank and Carol, for your leadership.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being part of the community and being your own leadership. Remember, you're leading people too. Everybody's leading people, and everybody brings something very, very valuable to the table. In any meeting we have, they would not occur except for all of you. So have at it. Back
It's
to
a
you.
it's a beautiful tapestry, beautiful community. Thank you everyone for such a wonderful program here. And we'll see everyone same time, same place, meaning Zoom. I won't be in the beautiful Amway Grand Plaza, but same time, same place next week. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great Saturday and happy Mother's Day.
Bye-bye.
Happy
Bye-bye.
Mother's Day to
Happy
everybody.
Mother's Day,
Mother's Day.
everybody.
Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.